morning, OG crew. Another segment of Sports Corner here with yours truly, Romeboy, KG, and Lammy to come on afterwards. So let's get right into it. Let's talk about hockey. Hockey. For the first time in NHL history, 4 teams started the season at 5-0 records. It's the first time we've ever had 4 teams start off undefeated in the first 5 games of the season. Of course, the Florida Panthers are still going strong, and even increasing that. They're at 7-0 right now. One major concern for our top contenders, according to Vegas, which are the Colorado Avalanche, the Vegas Golden Knights, and of course Toronto Maple Leafs are all favored to be top contenders this year. Those guys are combined 8-12 right now. So I don't know what's going on. I don't know if they're just pacing themselves. Of course, our Maple Leafs fought hard this week and came back in overtime to beat the Chicago Blackhawks. And that will kind of segue into one of the big stories that's going on in hockey right now. Last week, the big story in hockey was Evander Kane, his 21-game suspension for faking COVID documentation. This week, the biggest news in hockey revolves around the Chicago Blackhawks and the way they handled their investigation of an incident back in 2010 of one of their coaches, their video coaches. The end result is pretty poor. It looks like the team actually put the team results ahead of taking care of a very serious personal matter with the team. And they were fined $2 million for failing to do any kind of action until after they had won the Stanley Cup in 2010. So they were notified of the issue 3 weeks, and they waited, and then they finally did something in terms of dealing with the issue. And by then it was too late. A lot of fallout that's happening. The GM obviously has resigned, as well as the senior vice president of the Chicago Blackhawks has also been fined. And again, NHL has levied a $2 million fine against the Blackhawks for failing to investigate this and take appropriate action. One of the things I do want to talk about on the positive note, so at the 2-week mark, Connor McDavid is again taking off, and he's got 15 points through the first 6 games of the year. So looks like he's on another torrid pace to kind of take that scoring lead and run away with it, just like he did last year. But of special note, and you'll notice today that I'm wearing a Washington Capitals T-shirt to recognize the goal-scoring leader in the league, Alex Ovechkin. Right now, he's got 8 goals. He is currently He's currently in 5th place overall, and he's only 3 goals behind Brett Hull, who's at number 4, with 738 goals. So, he's going to catch Brett Hull. He's got a few others in front of him, including Phil Esposito and Gordie Howe, before he gets to Wayne Gretzky. He might do it in about 2 or 3 years. We'll see what happens with Alex Ovechkin. Anyway, last week when we were talking about baseball, we were talking about, we got 2 wildcard teams in the Final Four. This week, see you later, wildcard teams. Boston is gone and LA is gone. So we've got Atlanta Braves and we've got, we've got the Houston Astros. Of course, Atlanta came out strong in Game 1 and jumped all over Houston to take home field advantage away. Of special note during that game was their pitcher, Charlie Morton, who actually broke his leg during the game and pitched 16 pitches with a broken fibula, including striking out Jose Altuve to when he finally left the game. So really heroic performance by him. He didn't even realize, I guess, that he had broken his fibula, but he's out until next year now, so that's an unfortunate setback for Atlanta Braves. But personally, I'm cheering for Atlanta Braves. Their general manager and senior VP is former Blue Jays executive Alex Anthopoulos. So I'm really wishing the Atlanta Braves good luck in this postseason. Of course, Houston Astros came back to take Game 2. And so the series is tied 1-1 right now, and Game 3 is slated to go on Friday. We're going back to Atlanta with their home field, and hopefully it's going to be another amazing game. The World Series has been very entertaining so far. Anyway, that's all for me right now. I'm gonna send it over to my good buddy KG. He's gonna talk about those Raptors and any kind of Ben Simmons rumors, and let's not forget Scotty Barnes, KG. Okay, over to you.
Oh, thanks, my man. Welcome all OG crew. What's going on? Happy. Oh, and for all those who celebrate Halloween coming, happy Halloween. Anyhow, let's get into basketball. As my man Romeboy was talking about, Ben Simmons. Wow, man, it's like a soap opera, man. It's like The Young and the Restless or As the World Turns or any one of those dramas that you look for. One week he's saying, "Yo, I ain't coming back. You can't pay me to come back." Then he comes back and gets kicked out of practice. Then he gets kicked out of practice. Now he's telling me, "Oh Lord, I got this medical condition. Oh, what? I shouldn't joke about it because if he does have some mental health problems, then you should definitely look out for it. But I just find it interesting that man was talking all this, never talking about mental health issues, and all of a sudden he got mental health issues because he didn't want to play in the opener. But I get it. There's a lot of heat going on. So I hope he actually gets well, and the team, he had a team meeting. So I'm sure he had he came out and told why he was doing things because it seems, Joel Embiid and Doc Rivers and everyone's saying, hey, he's still our brother. And when he's ready, we're opening up arms. And, to tell the truth, if he does come back, Philadelphia could be to be reckoned with. But you know what's crazy there, Rome boy? You know what's crazy there, Lambo? If I was a betting man, and I say, hey, who's going to start the season undefeated? I guarantee no one would have picked these teams that are undefeated. Bro, boy, Chicago undefeated, Golden State undefeated, Utah undefeated, right? You know who the top three teams in the Eastern Conference? Chicago, Charlotte, and New York Knicks. These are the top three teams. No Milwaukee, no Miami, right? Where are the big name teams? And on the Western Conference, it's even scarier. It's like Golden State, Golden State's number one. But, we didn't know it. Klay Thompson's not even back, right? And then Utah, which I guess, but Minnesota? Minnesota's in third in the Western. What is going on? The soap opera, the dramas that's been going on. Before I even get to the Raptors, man, the other day, everyone's talking about the Lakers, right? I even now was talking about the Lakers. I just told there were accidents waiting to happen because it is too old. So they lost the first two games. Everyone's going crazy. Then they won in overtime. Some of the game, and then LeBron's hurt, right? So his ankle. So they're supposed to play. Oklahoma, right? Which, my man, Alexander Glarus, the Canadian, who has a $173 million contract. Boy, that kid balling, Alexander. You keep balling. Anyhow, that was supposed to be a walk in the park for these guys, but they got their ass slapped up by Oklahoma. And, Rumble, we all talked about the unwritten rules in baseball, right? When it's 3-0 and bases are loaded and you're up by 7 runs, I guess, you ain't supposed to swing, right? Now, basketball, there's an unwritten rule. I don't go by that, but the old school guys go, if you're up and the game's over, right, you don't take a layup or you don't shoot. Or anyhow, Oklahoma was up by 5 and turned the ball over with under 5 seconds left. The kid stole it, went down, dunked it, right? Give it some attitude. Get out of here, Lakers, right? You ain't got nothing. And Russell Westbrook was all up in arms. Unbelievable. What? You know what? There was a time Russell Westbrook did the same thing. It's amazing when you get you're an old man over 30. Now you're hurt your feelings, right? Hurt feelings. You got tossed out. I say, listen, you play to the end. Until you see double zeros out there, you keep playing. You want to score a basket, go right ahead. These unwritten, non-going rules. But you can trash talk. Like, to me, makes no sense. Anyhow, let's talk about those Raptors. Now, I'm still telling you, the playoff team. These guys are young, ferocious, and it's great to see how these young kids are coming up. Banton from Rexdale, man, this team is long, so long. It's unreal. Like defensively, once these guys figure stuff out, dude, this team is going to be seriously dangerous. Don't count these kids out. We're 2-3 right now. We got our first win the other day at the ACC, Scotiabank Arena. All right. And our next game is on October 29th. So stay tuned. What I also love is Scotty Barnes. When we started the season there, Homeboy, he was not in the top 5 for Rookie of the Year. The last 4 games, this kid's been balling. Now he's the number 1 pick to win the if Vegas is betting right now, Scotty Barnes. Long, athletic. Man, where's the number 4? That's my favorite jersey number for Chris Webber. This kid is nice. And what's surprising me is that a lot of the young kids are getting a lot of play. And we go up, we go down, we go up, but we're always balanced. Battle. Now, one thing I'm going to leave you guys before I leave out here is my two favorite players to watch out for this week. First player is LaMelo Ball. My goodness, this kid is nice. I told you, Rookie of the Year 2021, and my goodness, he's coming off with a tear. Now, the question is, would you want to start your team with LaMelo Ball, or would you want to be my boy, Ja Morant? Now, I'm going to leave that for you guys. Who would you want to start your team with, Ja Morant or Lamar Ball? I say Ja Morant. This guy is box office. Special talent, hops, scored drop 40 on the Lakers in the losing battle. But man, this kid is a baller. Like when I'm talking stone cold, eat your heart out, I'm coming to kill you type guy. Ja Morant, and it doesn't hurt that he has these dirty hops. Dirty hops. So be lookout next week. I'm going to talk to you about a little bit about some of the college basketball that will be coming up with March Madness, and as well special case of who I think is going to be MVP for the league. Back to you, Lemmy.
KG, one more thing before Lammy takes over there. It was really interesting to know that former Hall of Fame and um, coach Jason Kidd actually came out and made some really strong comments about Scotty Barnes, how mature this player is, and he's already calling him a superstar in the league. So he's right there with you, KG. So if Jason Kidd says he is, and you says he is, then he must be an all-star or must be pretty close to being a superstar. So.
Like I love Jason Kidd, and we all think alike. That's how come. I didn't hear that, but man, that's a huge compliment coming from Jason Kidd because that's a guy who doesn't
Sure
talk
is.
about anyone like that. So that's awesome. All right, Lammy, all yours, baby.
Thanks, KG, and hello, OG crew. Now, remember last week I said you need to watch the rugby between USA and New Zealand to see how the game's really played? Well, the USA done something that they've never done before against the All Blacks. They managed to score a try and managed actually to get 14 points. However, the All Blacks managed to score 104. They scored 16 tries and scored their first one in 26 seconds. So for those that watched it, I hope you enjoyed it. It was a really game. I only managed to see the highlights, but what I did see is typical All Black rugby. The real irony was that wasn't their best team that they put out. So look out the Northern Hemisphere teams that they're going to be playing coming up in the next month or so. Coming up this week, the All Blacks, who are the Southern Hemisphere champions, will be playing Wales, the Northern Hemisphere champions. So that should be an interesting game at the Principality Stadium in Wales on Saturday. A wee taster for that, Scotland are playing the mighty Tonga. I'm saying mighty Tonga because they're big laddies and there's no padding. So it should be good fun. On to some football now, and the biggest story at the weekend was the Liverpool versus Manchester United game, or Manchester United versus Liverpool game because it was played at Old Trafford, and it resulted in a 5-0 win for Liverpool. They were absolutely immense. They were absolutely superb to watch. Man United were absolute rubbish, so if we've got any Man United supporters, they should be sort of ducking out the road. So Liverpool remain the only undefeated team in the English Premiership. There's only 3 other teams in the whole of the UK that are undefeated. Bournemouth in the English Championship, Kelty Hearts in the 2nd Division in Scotland, and the mighty Heart of Midlothian, my own team, in the Scottish Premiership. So the football's going not too bad. Some interesting games coming up, and there's some World Cup qualifiers middle of November. But rugby coming up soon, so that's me getting the cider ready and hopefully watching some good rugby. That's all from me for the Sports Corner. Have a good weekend. Catch you next week. Cheers. Bye.